All right, Khan, Shalom, Shalom, Israel, Shalom to the Torah, Shaziyah, Allah, giving the chorus, Allah, and glory and praise unto the Most High God, Yahweh, in the name of Son, begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. This brother, Yasha Allah, coming back to y'all yet another video through the Spirit, Power Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Mamalak, Yahweh Shai. All right, Shalom, Shalom. All right, so I'm going to get straight into this. This is going into essentially who are the saints of the Most High. All right, so this is a milk video going into the saints because you go into the New Testament, you're going to run into numerous times when Paul talks about the saints, all right? And that's a clear identifier about who he's talking to, all right? Because not everybody is a saint of the Lord. Not everybody is a saint of God, all right? If you're a Catholic or if you were brought under the Catholic persuasion, you'll even have a more of a misconception about um, what a saint is. You understand? Because when you look up saints in like the Catholic perspective, and we know that Catholicism is the father, or it's like your mother or father, whatever, of Christianity. All right. So when you look up, so I'm gonna look this up real quick. Definition of like saints, right? Because they view saints in a little different light, and it's not based off the precepts, not based off the scriptures at all. So this is the Catholic definition of saints. It says saints are persons in heaven, officially canonized or not, who live heroically virtuous lives, offered their life for others, or were martyred for the faith, or who were worthy of imitation. Salakia. So that's nowhere in the Bible, right? And we're going to see it's more simple than that. It's very more simple than that. Okay, so first off, we're going to kick it off with the book of Psalms, chapter 50. All right, Psalms chapter 50. Well, actually, I want to get this right to the point. I want to get right to the point. Let's go to Psalms chapter 48. So like 148. All right, in the last verse 14. It's the book of Psalms chapter 148 and verse 14. It says, he also exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel, a people near unto him, praise ye the Lord. So it's just saying the praise of all his saints. So he's talking about the saints right here, right? He exalted the horn of his people. Who's the horn of our people? That's talking about Yahweh Shah. Because let's go to the book of Luke chapter 1 and verse number 68. It says, blessed be the Lord God of Israel, for he hath visited and redeemed his people, and have raised up us, it's like you raised up an horn of salvation for us. So who's that horn of salvation for Israel, for us, in the house of his servant David, as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began. So who is this horn of salvation? That's talking about none other but Hamashiach Yahweh Shah the righteous. All right. So when you go back to this in Salaki, you go back to this Psalm chapter 148 and verse 14, it says, he exalted the horn of his people, which is Yahweh Shah, the praise of all his saints. So it's talking about his people, which are his saints, even of the children of Israel, meaning the saints are the children of Israel. All right. The saints are the children of Israel. So if you're an Israelite, you're a saint according to the Most High. All right. As simple as that. It's not talking about somebody that lived a heroic life or anything like that. It's not in the Bible. It's the book of Psalms chapter 15, verse 5. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. Okay, so the Lord said, gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. So who made a covenant with the Lord by sacrifice? Let's go to the book of Exodus. Let's go back to the law, right? Chapter 24 and verse number 8. It says, and Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people. Who's the people? The people that he was with in the wilderness, which is talking about the Israelites, pursuant to the book of Exodus, chapter 3 and verse 10. And said, behold, the blood of the covenant which the Lord hath made with you concerning all these words. So the Lord made a covenant with the children of Israel. All right, that's very plain in the text. Let's go to Psalm chapter 78 and verse number 5. For he established a testimony in Jacob and appointed a law in Israel which he commanded our fathers, that they should make them known to their children. So those commandments, which was the covenant onto Israel, that's who the Most High made a covenant with by sacrificing. You find the sacrificial laws where in the law, All right, you find the sacrificial customs and where in the law. So the Lord made that covenant with by sacrifice with none other but the nation of Israel. That's it. All right, so the saints are the Israelites. We have two witnesses at that. Let's go to the book of Psalms. Actually, yeah, let's go to Psalms. I want to get 106 verse 16. Psalms chapter 106 and verse 16. It says, they envied Moses also in the camp, and Aaron, the saint of the Lord. So Aaron, what was his nationality? Aaron was an Israelite, right? So Aaron was called a saint of the Most High, right? Because look, he's an Israelite. Let me go to Daniel chapter 7 and verse 18. It says what? But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom. Who are the saints of the Most High? The Israelites are going to take the kingdom because the kingdom belongs to them, right? They're called the children of the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever, all right? It's talking about the Israelites. Let's go to the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 25. It says, and he shall speak great words against the Most High and shall wear out the saints of the Most High. So who's this talking about, right? Who's going to wear out the saints of the Most High? Esau. And who are the saints? The Israelites. Esau is wearing the Israelites out through the multitude of oppressions, right? Let's go to the book of Hosea to prove that. Chapter 12, I believe, in verse 5. I want Hosea 12 and 7, right? God, all praises. He is a merchant. The balances of deceit are in his hand. Talking about Esau. He loveth to oppress, right? On a spiritual level, that's talking about Esau. He loves to oppress Israel, right? And Israel is constantly getting oppressed by him. So that's how he's wearing out the saints of the Most High, by oppressing them. And think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and dividing the time. All right. So the Israelites are the saints. That's just what we're trying to prove here. Let's go to Romans chapter 1 verse 7. As to all that be in Rome, beloved of God, called to be saints. So the people that Paul is writing to are called to be saints. Right? You have to understand that. They're called to be saints. They're beloved of God and they're called to be saints. Grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Yahweh Shai Mahashiach. And so, since we just proved who the saints are, we had to put these two pieces, puzzle pieces together, and understand that Paul is talking and writing to Israelites. Another witness to that is Romans chapter 9. So Romans chapter 9 and verse number 10. And not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac. So you have our father Isaac. So Paul is identifying the people in this church in Rome. He's identifying their fathers with Isaac. You know that Isaac only had, when you read Genesis, he only had two sons. He only had Esau and Jacob. And Jacob is the patriarch of the 12 tribes of Israel, the Israelites. Esau is the patriarch of the Edomites. And we know he can't be talking to Edomites because he's even quoting in verse 13 that Jacob the Lord loves and Esau the Lord hates. So why would he be talking to Edomites? He's talking to Israelites, you know? So that just shows you, going back to that precept from Romans 1 and 7, the people that are in that church in Rome are Israelites. They're called to be saints. And so we know who the saints are. Let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 97, verse 10. Right, Psalms chapter 97, verse 10. Ye that love the Lord hate evil. He preserveth the souls of his saints. You see that? Talking about Israelites. He delivered them out of the hand of the wicked. And the wicked is talking about the other nations in this context. All right. But here's the thing. When you go into this word for saint, all right, in Psalm 50 and 5, for example, this word for saints is I'm gonna play this. Right, so Hasid, it says faithful, kind, goodly, or shlaki, godly, holy one, saint, pious. It says properly kind, i.e. religiously pious, a saint, godly man. So and this is used quite oftenly. When you go to 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 9, it says He will keep the feet of his saints, and the wicked will be silent in darkness, for by strength shall no man prevail. So we see here saints are people, the Israelites, all right, as we just established. And also, when you read the scriptures, saints can be applied to angels. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 33 and verse 2. It says, "And he said, The Lord came from Sinai and rose up from Seir unto them. He shined forth from Mount Paran, and he came with 10,000s of saints from his right hand when a fiery law for them." So that's not talking about Israelites here in this context when he uses the word saints. This word saints for the Hebrew is Kadash, and it just means holy, right? It just means holy. Right, or Kodash in the Paleo Hebrew. So all this means is just holy, apartness, holiness, sacredness, separateness. Um, and these saints right here are actually angels. They're not actually men. They're angels. All right. So saints can also be used as angels to say angel, to call for angel, because that angel is also holy. Just like how Israelites are holy, they're holy in the sense that they're set apart. They're set apart from everybody. Right? You go to that in the book of Leviticus, chapter 20, right? Leviticus chapter 20, verse 26. He shall be holy unto me. He's talking to the whole nation of Israel. For I, the Lord, am holy and have severed you from other people, that ye should be mine. You see that? So, if you're part of that nation that is called holy, then you're also holy. If you come from a nation, of a holy nation, then you're deemed holy, right? Because holy just means set apart or sacred, right? You're set apart. You're different from the rest. So therefore, if you're from that nation, then you will be also called a saint. If you're from Israel, which is a set apart nation, you will also be called set apart yourself. So that's why the Israelites are saints. But at the same time, the angels are holy as well. So that's why it could be used for either or. But most of the time, from what I've seen, the word saint is applied to Israelites and not just angels, but or more than angels. But that's what I've seen through the spirit. But nevertheless, this just was a quick video going into who the saints are, proving who the saints are, going through various precepts, because Israel needs to know this milk through the spirit. So with that, the water for tuning in. All praise to Yahweh Shem Hamashiach Wamalaki Awashai Kwam Yasha'al Shalom.